Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's intraday analysis video, brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. Let's get started today on this Tuesday, November 11th, 2014. Markets are flat to slightly lower today, a little change of pace, but the volume is so light it would not be surprising to see the markets float up into the end of the day, ending flat to positive. All right, right now what we're really trying to watch for, and I said this in yesterday's video, is a change in character in the markets. So if you look at the markets over the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, ever since this rally began, we've seen that buy program towards the end of the day. And if you look at the last couple days, take a look. Here, up into the end of the day. Here, up into the end of the day, up into the end of the day. And then the question again is, do we see it today into the close? If we don't, and the markets end lower, and again, right now you'd consider this flat, but let's say we end at the lows of the day, maybe even below this blue trend line. That could be a change. I don't think we want to go out on a limb yet and say that it's a strong possibility. It's actually a very minor possibility. You still should be looking at a market that has a good chance to move higher in the light volume, but you just want to be aware in case something changes, because that will enable you to get on the right side of the trade as fast as possible. All right, having said that, there are some interesting things out there I want to mention. Yesterday, I gave you guys a great, easy trade setup, and this worked out already for mega profits. The simple trade was Alibaba on the short side. I said Alibaba was topping yesterday, and today, look at this. Closes above 119 yesterday. Today hits a low of 113. That's a $5.76 drop from the highs yesterday. How did I know it was topping? Very easy. All right, number one, you had a max move extension on the chart, which is very easy to calculate. Number two, you had overly bullish sentiment from average investors. We know they're generally always wrong. Number three, you had analysts on TV overly bullish. They're almost always wrong. And number four, it was a buy the rumor into the mega trading day called Singles Day in China, which is the biggest shopping day online in that whole entire country every year. And that was a classic rise up and a sell the news. And if you take a look at the chart, I mean, what idiots would consider buying Alibaba yesterday? I mean, obviously there were a lot of them because it went up a good chunk of the day. In fact, it closed higher. But again, you just have to question that and that mentality. Who's out there buying that thing? I mean, really? I mean, think about it logically. I mean, look at the daily chart. The stock has just run from $83 to $119. I mean, think about that. Basically a 50% move on a stock that's a $250 billion to $300 billion market cap. That's like Apple. Well, maybe not Apple, but that's like Amazon going up 50%. Are you really going to pay up 50% on Amazon? No. And again, I'll be the first to tell you that I think Alibaba 3 months from now will be higher. But it still doesn't mean it's going to go up nonstop forever. I mean, Lord almighty. So in any case, dead on call there. Anyone who followed my recommendation made some great money today. I actually scalped Alibaba on the long side today. Gave it to the intraday stock chat. Where was the long scalp? All right, so here you have a gap fill, guys, right here. So this was your level. I waited for a pierce of this. My average entry price was 114.08, and look at the bounce back. It literally bounced back within 2 candles to about 115.70. That's essentially a 65-cent bounce. Very quick money in the pocket on that Alibaba move. Okay, so that's what we have going on there. A couple other things that I think are worth noting here. All right, we've seen an insane move on the transports lately, but take a look at them today. Transports are rolling over even weaker than the market. And again, if we go to the daily chart, I think this is what's most amazing, and we can erase this trend line here. But look at this move up on the transports. All right, there's a lot of charts out there like this. These are way too extended. These have maxed out their upside. If you take a look at the extension move off the 200 and the 20 moving average, just extended beyond belief. Excuse me, and this should be a good solid setup. I'm looking at a potential top here on the transports, and another good signal would be Southwest Airlines. What do you guys see about this chart today? Here's the daily chart. Look at the candle today forming. That's a classic topping tail. Now there's no guarantees it'll close the day here, But if it does, you have a topping signal on some of these transportation players like Southwest Airlines, which, by the way, is up from literally $28 to $40. That's a $12 move. 28, so we're talking about not quite, just about 45% move in the last 3 weeks. 40 to 45% move up. And again, now this isn't as big a stock as Alibaba, but the point is, their stocks don't go vertical when they're that size company by that amount. I mean, that's not a healthy move. It's kind of like, as an investor, you have to think logically like you're going to the mall, right? If I go to the mall and I look for a pair of jeans, and this is the best analogy you'll ever hear about why you don't chase stocks. Do I go to the mall and is my mentality to look for that pair of jeans that was just jacked up 50% in price? Or do I go to the mall and look for the pair of solid, good jeans that's 50% off? 50% on sale. And obviously, the mentality of everyone listening to this video is, well, you look for it on sale. Yeah, but why do you do the opposite with stocks? Why does the average investor do that? It doesn't make sense. And again, that's why the average investor loses money, obviously, right? I mean, that's the ultimate, culprit there. But it's the mentality they're drilled in by greed and fear. Ultimately, they sell at the lows and buy at the highs, and that's what we try to teach here at In the Money Stocks and show you how to read the charts so you do the opposite. You buy at lows and sell at highs, or you short at highs. Okay? All right. So that's an interesting little one there. Another potential, there's a lot of these out there, but Travelers putting in a potential topping tail. And again, listen, the market hasn't closed today by any stretch. We still have another 2 hours to go, or a little over 2 hours to go in the trading day. So I could say they're topping tails now, but you need to revisit them later today. A couple interesting little factors here. We see oil basically flat on the day off the lows, and also gold today having a pretty solid bounce back. So gold got crushed yesterday. Good solid bounce back on gold. And if we look at silver on the SLV here, silver is also having a really nice move. I actually am very bullish on silver. I think silver short term is so oversold. Any sort of fear would also be a benefit to gold. Oil is kind of in the murkier area right now because obviously there's a demand issue there. But if the dollar starts to pull back, which it is today a little bit, you can see the dollar is coming down about 0.5% today. You can see, again, I actually think the dollar is going to fall more, which is probably good for oil and gold and silver. But ultimately, if you pull back to this pivot high right here, which is where I think you're going to go, you should see these commodities gain a little bit in the coming days. And I think the markets, again, it's kind of borderline, and you still want to be a little careful because if you go to the SPY, you still have the light volume markets floating up type mentality. So, I mean, they could keep this market up, I suppose. But overall, I'm still thinking that at some point we got to see some small pullback. Now, do you buy the pullback? Yeah, you probably do. I mean, in all fairness, the pullback, unless it breaks key levels, you buy it. You take money off some of the short plays and you buy the pullback. And I think that's what we have to remember to do and what we will be doing. So, again, guys, if you look at the spiders today, volume 32 million. Yesterday we did 55-60 million entire day, which is insanely light, one of the latest days of the year. Today's a holiday, the bond market's closed, so the volume should be continued to be extremely light, which it is today, 32.5 million. We're probably on pace for about 55 million today in total. And the only thing we can do right now is be neutral on the markets until we get a pullback, in which case we buy. And if you get a pullback that breaks key levels, then you want to start to look for maybe more downside. But again, it has to break key levels, and I'll go over those in the coming days. But nice job across the board on that Alibaba, guys. Keep an eye on some of those topping tails that I pointed out to you, and we'll go from there. Take care, guys. Again, have a great afternoon. Come join us here at InTheMoneyStocks.com.